Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Late Night on Base. I'm your host, Bill DeBull, back at the studio. I'm really stoked for these type of episodes because I enjoy podcasts in the studio, in person. I mean, a lot of my episodes are done online. They're great. They're cool. But there's nothing like being in the studio in this amazing environment with amazing guests. And today we have the Masonic Magician, my friend, a deep base supporter.
We're back.
We had him on last time, a couple months ago. We talked about magic. This episode is going to be unique, though, because we're going to go in a different realm. So Late on Base, as you know, we talk about all the projects that are building, trying to amplify the base ecosystem. That's dope. I love it. But I also want to get into the other topics that those that on base, such as the Masonic Magician, are interested in it, that I'm interested in it. One of those things is like the esoteric. Things that might be unknown to many, different spiritual planes, astral projection, things of that nature. You know, I'm a big numerology guy. Spirituality is very important to me. But just being able to do things that to the most uneducated, they think it's impossible. Getting into Freemasonry, stuff like that. So without further ado, Masonic Magician, how are you doing today, my friend?
Indescribable.
It's a good word.
Yes. I guess it could go both ways. I'm doing great. You know, I guess we're both kind of hanging in there with everything that's been going on in LA.
Of course.
So I want to, first of all, wish everybody to be safe. It's been hot.
It has been hot.
In the literal sense. But things are good. Life is great. I get to see you again.
It's always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure. Exactly. We did a little thing before on live too. I guess we're both always working, so I don't really consider it work.
No.
For me, I have a full-time job, and it's crazy because I actually spend just as much time like in crypto and on base and social media, whatever, all the platforms that we're on. I'm on there so much, man. Like I don't know how I do it. I mean, I go to my job, I do my work. I don't let the two bother each other. Mm. But I'm like managing.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, for me, 2025 is the year for crypto, in my opinion. It's the bull run's here. Mm-hmm. This is, in my opinion, and it goes to kind of some of our topics. Because I view the markets are run by astrology a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think we are in the Chinese zodiac year. Currently, we're in the dragon year. Mm-hmm. It ends, the Chinese New Year is the end of the month. Mm-hmm. Then we switch over to a rat year. Mm-hmm. And it's always been in 2024 in numerology was a universal 8 year. 8 year was all about money. And 2025 is endings. It's 9 years. So this is the year things end. To me, crypto, this is the year, 2026 is going to be an absolute bloodbath, in my opinion. And another reason why I say that is because Bitcoin was born in the year of the rat, 2008, year of the rat. And what happens is the enemy of the Bitcoin or 2008 of the rat is a horse. 2026, and you're a horse actually too. Right. 2026 is the year of the horse, and that is going to spell bloodbath, in my opinion, because it's going to be bad, and I think just everything is showing that. So we'll dive deep, but yeah, what I'm saying is like I'm going all in crypto, right, and like media and podcasts and just doing it.
Up until then,
I mean, listen, I love this stuff. I found my passion.
Yeah.
I'm a life path 33. And I've realized that's all about learning and teaching others, inspiring others. And I've realized
that's your life path number.
I'm a 33-6. So that means I go both ways. So what that means is I shift different vibrations. Uh-huh. So certain times in my life, it's all about 6, which is family, super family oriented. I love my parents. I love my family. I love my kids. That fulfills my soul. But then I have a 33 element, and that is I'm meant to teach. I'm meant to educate. I'm meant to inspire. I'm the master teacher. And I really resonate for that. I'm not supposed to be, an accountant. I'm not supposed to be, I actually come from a legal background. I'm a lawyer by profession. I don't know if you knew that. Certified in the state of California.
Oh, wow.
I hated it.
Right.
I hated it. That is not what my soul was meant to do. I'm not meant to be behind a desk. I'm not meant to, be a carpenter and build houses.
Paper push
Not at all. It took me numerology for me to learn what I'm supposed to do to really fulfill my soul. And that's why I started the podcast.
Know thyself.
Exactly.
You found yourself.
Do you know your life path?
I mean, I guess we'll get into that.
Okay.
It's very interesting. I mean, so when you're saying, you the 33 and then the 6, so are these things that you label, like, does it change like a certain day? You're like, you know what, today I am carrying myself as a...
No,
So
it's
it's
not a
just
day by day. It's
okay.
more like, I would say, on a longer term perspective. So like,
Do you choose it, or does it just happen?
It happens. So
Okay.
like right now I am in my 33 element.
Okay.
I love my kids, but right now what's the most important thing to me at the moment is pursuing my career, pursuing my agenda, my 33, inspiring others, changing. That is the vibration I'm on. It doesn't just change every day. But earlier on, my vibration was not that. My vibration was, I want a family, I want to have kids, I want to have the wife, all that stuff. And that's what really resonated with me.
You got that down, and now
got that done. Now I got that done. So it's interesting. But I want to talk about you because you have a very interesting journey. I want to talk about a bunch of things, like we talked about Freemasonry but let's start with an astral projection. But let's start with Freemasonry.
Sure.
So that is something that very much intrigues me. It's like it's a lot of it is, in my understanding, I don't know as much, but I know it's, a society that people join. And I know the ultimate goal is to become a 33, or that's the ultimate number. I know in numerology, 33 is the ultimate number.
It's everywhere in nature.
It's everywhere in nature. So talk to me about your journey into Freemasonry and start from the beginning.
So I guess from the very beginning,
explain what is Freemasonry.
It's a fraternity.
Okay.
It's a brotherhood. It is one of the oldest and largest brotherhoods in the world. So Freemasonry, speculative masonry, as opposed to operative masonry. So operative masonry is masons who, bricklayers.
Sure.
They use the gavel, they use the square, the compass, all these tools that are used to lay bricks. Speculative Freemasonry takes these tools and uses them. For example, the level you use to, when they say on the level, or stay on the level. So not to get into too many of those details, but I was always interested in the esoteric.
Yeah.
I met somebody who was a Mason, and I asked. I was like, hey, I'm interested. I saw he was wearing a ring.
How old were you?
I was 23.
Okay.
22. It was 2013.
Okay.
I don't remember if it was before I turned 23 or after, but so I got into Freemasonry in 2013.
Okay.
I was always interested. I was by interested, I mean I was just reading, searching
Curious.
into conspiracy stuff, and very curious. But I understood that you don't believe or shouldn't believe everything you read on the internet.
Absolutely.
So because I'm a magician, because the way my brain works, okay, and by that I mean you see an illusion, you see something. As a magician, I think, okay, great, what's the method behind it? I try to break it down, I try to understand it. So my brain already thinks like that in everything. So I see something, I'm like, great, okay, what's behind it? So I asked the gentleman that I met, and he's like, oh, it's great that you asked. You can come on this and that day to our lodge, meet the guys, meet the brothers, and everything is up to you. So that's one of the things. We have a motto. It says, ask one to be one.
Okay.
So you and I can be friends for decades, and I will never recruit you. It's not something I go out to recruit.
Sure.
The day you ask, say, hey, Hike, I'm interested. I'll be like, I'm so glad you asked, Bill. Or not glad. I'm like, great.
Sure.
Well, first of all, deep down, I will try to ensure that your intentions are pure. I'll try to see if you're actually serious about it. Some brothers, they wait for someone to ask them 3 times kind of like a symbolic thing,
Sure.
knock on the door 3 times. I'll be great. You can come with me. You might not like the guys in this lodge. You don't have to like them. Maybe you want to go to another lodge.
Are lodges just like per city, or is it just like?
Yeah, there's, I guess you could, not every single city has one, but yes, they're pretty much, if you Google Masonic Lodge in my area, it'll pop up. So, and in the US, especially in California, it's much more out in the open. So Freemasonry is not a secret society.
Okay.
It's a society with secrets.
Got it.
And these secrets, which I'm obviously not going to reveal in that way. However, to explain a point, these secrets can be as small as a word. The word in itself doesn't, people think you're going to get in, learn a word and have some sort of powers. There's a lot of life lessons. And everybody's journey in Freemasonry is personal to them. It's kind of like when someone takes mushrooms.
Sure.
Each trip is whatever you learn and experience is for you at that moment.
Yeah.
And exactly with meditation, astral projection.
Yeah. For me, it was numerology. It's my own.
There you go.
My own thing.
So these, I went to like this word, right? This secret. It can be something as small as a word. However, in the Brotherhood, we talk about trust, bond. We're brothers, right? We're supposed to be able to trust each other. So if you and I are brothers, and if you can't hold a secret, something as small as a word,
Sure.
how can I trust you for anything else bigger in life?
Okay.
So these are small things that we use to solidify this bond. Everybody has different reasons for getting into it. I've seen some reasons that I do not like so much. There's people get in it for material reasons, materialistic reasons. Some people get in because of the network. They use, maybe even abuse it.
Okay.
It happens. They're humans. I entered not to get something out. Well, of course, everything's transactional. I'd be lying if I say I don't want anything back.
Sure.
Of course, I'm learning. But I also entered to offer myself, give who I am, So I was initiated. I was raised. In regards to the degrees, one thing I want to get straight. So since you're not a Freemason, it doesn't matter how much you read, how much you do. Remember, we're talking about, it's about the experience.
Sure.
So there's no reason for you to actually know about it unless you are one. I can explain to you and tell you how a lemon tastes like for days, but you really won't know till you taste it yourself. So that goes the same with this. Degree-wise, it is only in the US where you have those side appendant bodies of Freemasonry. Okay. So once you become a 3rd degree Master Mason, that is it. You are a Mason. You are a Master Mason. You then have the choice to go to several appendant bodies of Freemasonry. They're kind of like side orders. Okay. There's the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. There's the York Rite of Freemasonry.
How long does it take to get to the highest level?
Depends. See, that's the highest level wise. The highest level is 3rd degree.
Yeah.
In Europe, in France, in England, they don't have this 33 stuff.
Okay.
You're 3rd degree. You're a Master Mason. And okay, in England, you'll go and you'll be, before you even get your 1st degree, for maybe a whole year.
Okay.
After that, you'll get your 1st degree. Then after another year, you'll get your 2nd. So different lodges work different ways.
Got it.
I went through that process quite fast, and it was less than a year that I became a Master Mason.
3rd degree.
Yes, correct. So the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, which I'm also part of, I'm a 32nd degree Knight of St. Andrew. That's just different titles for different things.
Sure.
We'll put it this way. The Scottish Rite is more Jewish mysticism.
Okay.
And Kabbalah stuff.
Okay.
The York Rite, which is where you go and you get your Templar degree. As a Freemason, you can be a Templar. Now, this is not the same as the actual Knights Templar Brotherhood.
Got it.
But you learn of the Templars, and that is more Christian mysticism.
Interesting.
So Freemasonry is not a religion. One of the requirements, one of the basic requirements is for you to have a belief in a higher entity. Now, to you, that can be this tree.
Sure.
We respect all backgrounds. So it's been a very interesting journey for me because I've always been interested in the esoteric world, knowledge, information. I mean, why not, right?
Of course. You have a curious mind.
Right. And I guess it always goes hand in hand. As a magician, a lot of us, we like mysticism, and maybe you can help me out with this. See, someone's done tarot cards to me. Mm-hmm. So I've never done tarot to somebody else, but I did this 2 times, and both times, different time periods, I picked the magician card.
Wow.
And when you read the characteristics of the magician and also my horoscope, which I'm an Aries, it's like that. It's telling my story, basically.
It is telling your story. Wow.
And look, man, I'm into a lot of the things I'm into because I was skeptical in all these things.
For sure.
I'm like, nah, not really. What is it really? And then you go into it. Now, interestingly, in a lot of these topics, such as astral projection or topics where you need 100%, like not 100%, I'll put it this way. You can't have any percentage of doubt in your mind when doing it, because even that inkling of doubt will stop you from having said experience.
Yeah.
So it's like a dilemma for me because I want to experience something. I'm going into it, yet I'm approaching it from a skeptical mind. So I had to kind of overcome that. And yeah, for me, again, there's the reasons and purposes of these societies. I think they all come down to the same thing at the end of the day. I'm in it for the non-materialistic reasons. There's an esoteric side of Freemasonry, a spiritual side of Freemasonry. For example, this square and compass to a group of people might mean X, Y, and Z, and that's it for them. However, there's also deeper layers of meanings, as above, so below. It's all up to the beholder.
Yeah, of course. That's the thing that would interest me the most. Like, it gets my curiosity because I'm so into the esoteric stuff. And I'm so into just like, if I were to ever explore this, it'd be to one thing is just to learn, to just knowledge,
Why
feed
not?
my curiosity.
Exactly.
I would not be in it for material. I don't care about any of that except to, learn. And I have such a curious mind. So obviously there's only so much you can talk about until you get into it. But that's something that, I think, why not? Why not learn from, as you said, there, from the outside looking in, there has to be something there.
Right.
There's chapters all around the world.
Right.
Who knows how much, and it's been around for centuries, I assume. Why not learn that in a society that others also share that same value? So it's interesting.
Well, benefit wise, look, I mean, mostly anywhere I go in the world, I have brothers. So it's a good thing in that way, and brothers that at least I trust. Sure. I'm a very trusting person. And it's hurt me in the past, and I understand it. But I'd rather trust people than say I don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
They're just saying, trust but verify.
Of course.
So I'm a trusting person. I expect the same from others.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I travel, it's a nice thing to know that, hey, if you need something, there's a brother anywhere
Is this something
around you.
though? Is this something that you like publicly announce that, hey, like, or is there like some sort of like, like, how do you know and recognize other members?
Well, see that goes into some of the secrets,
Got
which could
it.
be
Which we can't
words or hand movements. It could literally be the ring, or if I'm wearing a square and compass, or my tattoo, which is out in the open.
They know. Yeah.
Right. Now, there's some places in the world where you couldn't, if you're a Mason, man, you can't show it. You can't walk around like that. Like, bad things will happen to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why it was in the dark for such a long time.
Sure.
And let's get another thing out the way. Freemasons are not Satanists.
Yeah. Do people think that?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And it comes from the tax seal hoax. TAXIL. So just Google it. This happened. I don't want to give wrong information. However, this was a Catholic propaganda against Freemasons long time ago. And whoever did this admit that it was false and only meant to. Right. But I mean, I don't blame people because, again, like what I said earlier, if you're not in it, you don't know. So I can't blame you. I can't get angry at someone for not knowing. It is what it is. I mean, some people think it's this, some people think it's that. You don't know. I try to explain as much as I can and show the good side. I mean, bad side wise, there's always bad people.
Yeah.
But it's not the brotherhood in itself. So into the spiritual side of Freemasonry, we also call each other travelers. Okay. So in my mind, I think that's a beautiful thing because I practice astral projection, which is astral travel.
I can't wait to talk about this.
I mean, hey, let's get into it. I mean,
okay, fascinating stuff. So first of all, that was a great introduction to the Freemasonry stuff. Obviously, there's only so much you can talk about, but it's something that is a brotherhood that people resonate with all around the world, that holds knowledge, secrets that you guys hold dearly.
Correct.
And that's, to me, the beautiful thing. Like, I think it would lose a lot of its value if you just freely gave this information.
And it is a beautiful thing. Like the degrees I went through, the ceremonies, they're ceremonies.
Yeah.
And all these brothers they're there for you on that day. They congratulate you after. Yeah. And you remember that. You only go through your first degree once in your life, the second degree once in your life. And then you're there.
Yeah.
You do the same thing for new brothers.
For sure.
And you give them the same respect and congratulations.
On a smaller scale, it's kind of like in the fraternity world in college. You know, at a normal university in the US, they have things called fraternities and sororities. I was a part of a fraternity. I went to school in San Diego way back. And it was kind of the same thing. Like, you have to get initiated, but once you're initiated, you become part of the brotherhood, and then you can help bring in other people and help celebrate them. And, you know, you have to go through the rituals to get to that. It's the same exact thing. So on a scale, like, I totally resonate with this. And I probably, who knows, like, once the bull run's kind of done, I'm probably going to hit you up to kind of.
They all took, mostly everything took it from Freemasonry.
So, I am totally imagine that. So, I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe Late Night on Bill the Bull will eventually go into the Freemasonry. I definitely will hit you up. So let's talk about astral projection. I want to talk about things. Again, this all ties together because it's things that are, you know, to most people think it's impossible. And I know in life, when it comes to Freemasonry and the secrets you hold, there's probably things that you've learned that most people cannot fathom. And the same goes with a lot of things that, you know, I was reading a documentary about people who were taking ayahuasca. And they start seeing, like, everyone has their own experiences, but people swear by it. Like, it was life-changing. They saw certain things. They saw themselves in like next to a tiger, or they were a bird, or whatever the case is. I've never done it, but it's so interesting to me as I've gotten older. And one of the things that I haven't done, because I haven't really fully done it yet, is the idea of astral projecting and being able to, you know, you start hearing about people with these out-of-body experiences where you actually are departed from your physical body, and you can now, remote view, for instance, and you can get into that. And I just find that so fascinating. And some like, there's a YouTuber who I follow who gets really much into remote viewing and, all those things. So talk to me about astral projection. First of all, what is it for the viewers listening? And when did you start getting curious about this is what I want to do?
Great question. Always been curious about it.
Even at a young age?
Just like yourself when hearing, well, I didn't know of it at a very young age, I guess, so always.
Yeah, a little bit older.
I heard a lot of stories of out-of-body experiences. They call them OBEs. I got a book called Astral Dynamics.
Okay.
Which is more of a modern astral projection book. It's old. I mean, this is not a new topic at all. That book really got me researching into it like fully, and I love reading books when I do have the time.
Yeah.
Now, again, I approach this from a skeptical mind. I'm like, okay, what's going on in your mind? What's going on in your brain? Because it's one thing having an experience. It's another thing when two people, like you were saying, remote viewing, when you have an experience and let's say you're having an out-of-body experience and you wave at someone who's also having an out-of-body experience.
Wow.
And then they both wake up and they both know what happened.
They remember it.
That is a complete different level of experience than just saying, this and this happened. Because I also understand there's a lot of psychology, and our brains are immaculate, amazing things.
Yeah.
There's so many phenomena are explained through psychology. For example, mass sightings, mass UFO sightings, for instance. Those are explained through psychology. There are explanations for this as opposed to, they actually saw a UFO.
Really?
We're talking about mass sightings. We're talking about multiple people, like there's schools, they all saw the same thing, heard the same thing. There are explanations to this. Now,
So
I'm
it's
not
actually-
an expert. Correct. They're not,
Wow.
It didn't actually happen, but to them, it objectively happened.
Interesting.
Of course, it objectively happened. But see, that's the thing. So to me, when there are academic explanations to these things, I go for the rational because that's
Well, I think many people do
right.
that.
You'd assume so, right? But then we have flat earthers. So let's.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're a flat earther out there, I'm so sorry. Recently, they did the grand experiment. There's a 24-hour sun in it. You lost, okay?
Yeah, I've never understood that theory as to why anyone would believe it.
I get so angry. Anyways, I shouldn't get angry. It's not good to let your emotions take hold of you. So I got into really. I don't want to say you can't get into and immediately start doing astral projection.
Sure.
It was a good maybe 7 years ago.
Okay.
And let's put it this way. Everybody projects nightly. You just don't remember.
Explain.
So there's a theory that, and this was taught in that book, when you go to sleep, okay, there's your physical body, and then there's your energy body. Uh-huh. So astral projection is when your physical body goes to complete sleep. Okay, so all your muscles are turned off. You're asleep physically, but your mental state stays awake. So you consciously stay aware. This is how, if you want to induce an out-of-body experience. So your energy body splits from your physical body, and you go in the astral realm. Now, it's a gradient of frequencies, right? So if you know frequencies, it's not like just pop. So there's the physical realm. Right above it, it's called the buffer zone, which is kind of astral, kind of this realm. So if you're in the buffer zone, it will look like you're on Earth. It will look like it's your house. Slight differences, though. And then after that, there's the actual astral realms. And those which, think of it this way. Imagine a chessboard. You're in space. Now imagine a chessboard, an infinite plane that goes infinitely.
Wow.
Okay, so this is how it's explained at least. Now, each of these boxes have certain designs on them. And each of these designs, the closer you get, are more detailed, kind of like fractal, how fractals are. So each of these things are realms and realities which advanced astral projectors can go to, experience interactions with different people projecting, different beings projecting.
That's a realm that only projectors can get to.
Right, but see, there's the voluntary reaching of that point, and then the involuntary. So it is said that if you are voluntarily projecting, you might see others who seem like they're sleepwalking. Those others are the ones that have astral projected, but you don't know. Remember I said you do it nightly? So
involuntarily.
Right. It happens. You're in that realm. You can call it the dream realm. There's lucid dream. So lucid dreaming is when you're fully conscious and you're fully aware of being in a dream.
While you're dreaming.
While you're dreaming, correct. And you can also induce lucid dreams. There's hundreds of methods, and each method works differently for everybody else. And I'll quickly get into the methods of what worked for me.
Yeah.
Then there is sleep paralysis, for instance, which is amazing to me. It's very uncomfortable to people. Sleep paralysis is a condition people have.
You can't move, right?
It's scary. Correct. Yeah. It's scary. Basically, you see what happens is you are on the platform about to have an out-of-body experience. Your body has gone to sleep and your mind is awake. I get jealous of people that have sleep paralysis, whereas it's, you know what I mean? I'm like, I want to be in that position because then you can pop out. Yeah. And you can have auditory hallucinations. You can have visual hallucinations. Usually people feel something, someone, a dark figure, and pressure on their chest. So this goes, there's I think it was in medieval times, there's a big painting. It's a woman in a bed and a little gremlin demon looking thing sitting on the side, standing on the side of the bed. I think they called that the old hag or something. So back in those times when they had those experiences, they thought they were having some kind of demon visiting them. Some people who might not be religious or believe in demons, they'll have that experience and think it's an alien abduction. Yeah. Again, so all these experiences, this goes back. See, everybody's having sleep paralysis. Yeah. Not an alien abduction. They're not being visited by demons. This is purely chemical reactions happening in your brain. And if you ever do have sleep paralysis and you're uncomfortable, concentrate on moving your big toe. Got it. If you wiggle your big toe, you may snap out of it. It's helped once to whomever I shared it with. So there's hundreds of different methods to project. What you have to do is first, again, to consciously do it, is put your body to sleep. Do that through meditation, visualization. Visualization really helped me. So what I do is I lay down and I visualize parts of my body, section by section, going to sleep. However it works for you.
That's how you go to sleep or how you astral project?
I attempt astral projection almost every night. And I've been doing that for years. And
do you astral project every night?
Well, see, that's the thing. So it's what I remember astral projecting. When you have this experience, even your mind splits. So there's the expanded energy body's mind memory, and then your physical mind body's memory. When you come back, the key is to keep the memory of the body that was having the astral experience, so to say. I guess I can count on two hands the experiences that I remember.
Interesting.
The first time was amazing.
Explain what happened. What'd you see?
So, it's funny because there was this YouTube video that I was listening. So I would put earphones on. There's guided meditations, right? And I listened to some that were so complicated. Do this and then do that, then breathing, concentrate on your breathing. I'd get my body to the point where it was just in vibration, where I'm about to get there. I had my breakthrough through video that was completely simple. None of that stuff, that's just work for me.
Yeah.
The guy's just basically like, look, lay down. First of all, put the intention out there that you're going to have this experience. Put that intention in the back of your head and just relax, breathe, concentrate on one part. You can concentrate on your nose. And that was it. And then all of a sudden, it's like a muscular feeling, but it's a spiritual muscular feeling. Whereas you almost feel like this pull on your chest.
Yeah.
The sensation of falling?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can even induce that sensation, you may possibly pump out. So I all of a sudden felt this urge to pull. You can't explain it. It's literally a sensation. So I literally felt myself rise. Now, I have not experienced turning around and looking at my body, correct.
So you just you're rising, but you're not turning around. You're just going
correct.
forward.
I rose and the thing is you can't get super excited because like these experiences, they're not long, they're short. So this one was probably like 40 seconds, which was long in that term. So I was so excited, and you can't think of your body too, because that will also pop you back into your body. It takes so much concentration to stay in that realm. So what I did was I left my body. I went out of whatever was considered the roof at that time. I was back in Glendale, so I'm looking down to what I think is Glendale. I'm in the sky. I'm flying. And within my experience, I go to what looked like a power, just where like power lines and stuff. It looked like something like that. So there was some grass. I go on the grass. In my experience, I sit, and in my astral projection, I start to meditate. So I had like an inception kind of thing. I wanted to do this. I'm like, okay, as I'm meditating, I'm going to meditate within my meditation.
Wow.
So that was, and then, I wrote this down. I have like a long text I wrote down in the video. I commented, I'm like, this is just the experience I had. I've had an experience where, I don't know if this was, it was like half sleep paralysis. Well, it wasn't sleep paralysis because I got out of bed. There's been tons of times where I think I wake up. So I get out of bed. I went to the kitchen, saw my brother, and I was like, oh, you're awake? Then all of a sudden, these weird figures just came out from behind him. And I realized that I wasn't awake.
Wow.
Right. I'm like, holy crap. And this wasn't lucid dreaming because...
You didn't think you were dreaming.
Right. Well, at the same time, look, again, it goes back to maybe because my intention is to have this experience over and over and over, that I had a very strong dream that presented itself like that. It's a possibility, right? I can't know at the end of the day whether it was a very vivid dream or if I was in the astral realm. That's the thing. I mean, nobody can really tell except for that sensation feeling that I have, that sensation of exiting your physical body. And there is, you know how when you take a corkscrew out of a wine bottle, there's a pop, right? It's that pressure. So there is, you literally have, for me, it was auditory, like right before popping, I heard like white noise almost. And then silence. So it's funny because as I was explaining this, I remembered that.
Interesting.
And I had totally forgotten about that aspect.
So do you think, okay, so you're somebody who normally comes from it from a skeptical point of view, you're saying. So in your head, have you felt that your out-of-body experience, like the skeptic point of view, is there an explanation as to why you think you did this out-of-body experience? And a skeptic would say that wasn't an out-of-body experience. I can explain that somehow. Or are you a believer?
Well, I know that I objectively had that experience.
So what do you think could explain it from a scientific point of view?
I mean, it's our brains. I mean, we experience and feel all sorts of emotions in our brain. So look, unless I have an experience where, again, like remote viewing, for instance, and look, I do think it's possible, and see, but that this is all under the pseudoscience realm, and it's not academically agreed or
of course
accepted, you know. So I do understand and I do agree that it is pseudo. It is very interesting. I mean, look, all the you know, you mentioned telepathy earlier, right? I was very into that before all this, before I got into magic.
Interesting.
I tried to learn the science of it. Okay, what is telekinesis? Okay, people would make these little needles on strings, put them in jars, and try to move it with their mind. You know, I looked into what is needed. Oh, okay, you're becoming the needle. You're telling it to move. Wait, no, you're telling yourself to move because you are the needle. You know, there is no spoon kind of thing. So I went through that as a kid because I was like, dude, really, telekinesis? If it's true, who would not want to do it?
Of course.
You know, like it's why not? So I was amazed at it. And then I found magic and I found ways to do it without actual telekinesis.
Yeah, no,
the
telepathic stuff. Like there's like a hit #1 podcast and it explores autistic kids who have no verbal ability and
their sense of
basically scientists or whatever researchers, they'll never get true funding for it because it's pseudoscience. They don't believe it. But there are doctors out there who say they get hundreds of messages from families all over the world saying, hey, listen, my child can't talk, but I swear she can read my mind.
Wow.
Or he or she. And I'm only on episode 3 or 4, but it's like they're doing these tests from different kids. And it's just crazy, like on camera, what they're doing, how they're literally tapping into a different source of consciousness. And that kind of gives you into the question, if you go deeper, like, what is consciousness? Is it in your head? Where are people drawing the conscious? Is it like in some invisible plane? Ether, like who knows? And then it gets into like, some of these kids can telepathically communicate with one another all over the world. I feel like it's X-Men. Like we're in like a scene from X-Men where it's just like unexplained things are going on that most people will believe are fantasy. I don't believe it's fantasy. I believe it's just, I'm not aware.
Correct.
But I feel there's so much out there that there has to be something to it.
I do believe and know that if one of your senses are hindered, like if they can't speak, or if someone that is unfortunately, blind, another one of your senses is extremely heightened.
Of course.
Now that can be sense, intuition. So I don't find it odd. I mean, I find that very interesting that these kids that can't speak can,
and it's not just one or kid or two people with the experience. It's like hundreds of people who think they're alone, who no one would like, depending on your spirituality, some people might think you're like possessed or whatever. But like to me, and like some of these kids are saying like, yeah, I see people like, and they don't talk, but like they're explaining in a keyboard. And like, who's to say that their reality is wrong?
Right.
Maybe their reality is a reality that we just aren't privy to.
Correct.
Because we don't have those senses.
Correct. And maybe our reality is wrong.
Maybe our reality is wrong.
Maybe they're experiencing, fourth dimension or whatever in a way that we just can't, and we're the ones hindered.
I know
it's just possible.
It's extremely possible. And like to me, as I get older, I'm getting more curious, more spiritual. Like to me, what exactly is a dream? I don't even know. Like, how do I enter? I know astral projecting is one thing, which I've never done, but I want to. But like just getting into a dream state, what exactly is explaining? How did we get there? I don't even know.
And I stopped dreaming. I don't know if it's just we have so much to do as adults. Maybe, it could be your diet. It could be just what your mental state is. The same with my experiences, man. My recent experiences, I've had bad experiences. I've had experiences where I pop in some kind of realm. I'm not in this buffer zone.
Yeah.
I'm in some, I don't want to say the worst, because there was a time where I'm in this huge room with like no roof.
Yeah.
But I'm falling. So instead of flying, I catch myself falling a lot. So, and it's more than a dream because I pop into that realm and I'm microscopic. So is it maybe what I'm going through internally? Maybe do I feel, not that I feel small, but it's interesting. And it's each of these experiences I feel like is a reflection of what you may be going through. And you should take that, take some time for it to acclimate and learn from it. Now, one thing I do want to say is some people say, oh, I attempted or I try to meditate and I can't. Look, any experience you have when meditating, take that experience. I don't want to be cliche and say that's exactly what you were meant to experience, so on and so forth. Sure. But take everything that happens as the experience.
Yeah.
So don't think, oh, I didn't get to X and Y point, so all this was nothing. No, whatever you experienced was perfect. Put it that way. Meditation I think is such an important, such a big genre.
Yeah.
Which I love. And it comes down to, in Freemasonry, where we have a saying is know thyself.
Yeah.
I believe a lot of these societies and groups on the spiritual realm, they all have to do with knowing yourself, realizing this kingdom that is you, not just your body, and realizing what you can do with it, and it could be all sorts of things, which we're just learning and just talking about. I honestly, I do believe that there's so much we don't know.
Yeah, same.
We just scratched the surface. A lot of the new age stuff is old age. It's not new, but I'm open to the fact that we have so much to learn and that we still do not know anything about ourselves.
I agree. I think I might need to rename this podcast like unexplained curiosity and just talk about all the curious things. Like there's so much I want to know. Cool. I want to know like alien, like so much just piques my interest. Aliens, we
could talk about the Fermi paradox.
Oh my God. I just so much to just discuss. I guess we'll have to do it on another show. But as always, Masonic Magician, thank you for coming on.
Of course. I'm about to do a magic trick and disappear when this
I think no one does better magic than this man right here. And this man needs to keep pushing on-chain content.
Yes, I do.
Please do.
Been after our last time, so I did I did start using Dracula. I've been quite busy with some projects, but I have to get back to.
We'll get you there. We'll get you there.
I'm
right
not
now,
worried.
talent like yours just needs to be nurtured. It'll get there. So
TLC.
Exactly. All right, everyone. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the episodes. Very curious. I'm interested in everything I chat about. So hopefully you guys did too, and you learned a lot from Masonic Magician. So take care, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure.
All right.
Cheers.
Thank you.